All right, everybody. It is Friday night, and kind of feels more like Saturday night because we have college football on. And by the way, pretty good game, too. The Pac-12 championship third quarter just ended, and it looks like Oregon just scored a touchdown. And so Oregon is currently up by 4 on Washington, but it's the Pac-12's final game and final championship game here. It's a pretty good game. So I don't mind going on late Friday night when we've got some good television on here. And this is some really good television right now on KOCO5. So in the meantime, you're going to get your 10 o'clock news probably a little bit later. Probably not going to be until probably closer to like 10:30, 10:45 or so. But we do have some stuff to talk about for tonight. And that is the fact that I labeled first in here the threat for some ice. There's going to be a little bit of freezing fog that is going to set up for tomorrow morning. So there'll be some isolated slick roads out, probably more like bridges from, say, like Elk City, Clinton, Weatherford, Watonga, Kingfisher, Enid, Medford, up into like Woodward and Buffalo. So we're going to have to watch out for some fog to set up there early in the morning, between about 1 a.m. and 9 a.m. So here are the low temps for tonight. They're not like crazy cold, 28 to 30 degrees, but that's cold enough, again, for that cold air to get underneath some of these bridges and to kind of chill them down and for there to be some ice. I don't anticipate there being much of an issue right now in Oklahoma City. And for us to get down to 32 degrees, it's going to take a little bit of work. And this is why, because as of right now, let me find my dew points. Here's the dew points. So at this point, this is the coldest the air temperature can get. I mean, that can change, but as of right now, our low temperature really can't get below 34 degrees in Oklahoma City. But look at El Reno, 27. So there's definitely some hope, or there's some hope. There's a chance that we could drop our temperatures a few more degrees. 28 right now in El Reno. Otherwise, once the fog evaporates tomorrow, it's going to take a little while. This is the time of the year where, when I'm forecasting these type of foggy conditions, is that it takes a lot of work from the sun to be able to evaporate things. So sometimes the fog can last a little bit longer than a lot of the data tells you it should. So I'm just going to be kind of a little bit mindful of that. And so I've kind of gone a little bit cooler than a lot of the weather models are going to say, because sometimes it can take a little while for that fog to get out of here. So, but the day after tomorrow, things do look to be a bit better. Sunday, highs in the 50s and 60s out across western Oklahoma. Okay, the other title that I put in here will be rain. So the weather outlook, I started noticing this yesterday with another storm system coming in here. So definitely looks like we're probably going to be tracking another system coming in going into next week. Let me go ahead and drag this over here. Okay, so here we are. So going into next week, here we are. Another storm system begins to drop into the west and then down into the southwest here and then into the southern plains. So have a good fetch of moisture, good plume of moisture that we see out across the Four Corners, up into Texas, and then eventually coming into Oklahoma. This right here shows probably next Saturday, Sunday time frame do appear to be pretty wet. This is kind of a ways away. We're still about a week out, but there's definitely there's been some consistency in this data for more rain coming in. And so what we'll be tweaking of the days ahead is just how much rain wants to fall. But this is kind of all lining up with the weather pattern that we were talking about really for a couple months now about El Nino. Now, no one particular storm system is like because of El Nino, but rather it's an overall weather pattern. So I would say our odds of continuing to see storm systems like what we have coming in for next week will be there. Just like we had rain yesterday, and then we had rain and snow last week. And I think a lot of us, usually start to kind of settle into like a drier weather pattern this time of the year, usually for like December, January, and February. But it's been pretty wet. And as we've been saying, the weather pattern is likely going to be wet for this winter, wetter than normal. On the other side, by the way, I have been getting pictures coming in of the Northern Lights. They're back at it again today. And there was a report and a picture that I saw of the Northern Lights as far south as Amarillo, which is pretty impressive. Now, usually in order to see the Northern Lights this far south, usually your camera can see it. Like you might have to turn your cell phone camera on and like open the exposure for a bit to really let that light soak in. But when you do, you typically see like some red colors in the sky. But I did see a report from a TV station that they retweeted or re-xed or reposted, I think is what it's called now, of some red hues out across the Texas Panhandle. Now, unfortunately for central Oklahoma, we are stuck with clouds right now, and we're likely going to keep clouds in the forecast. So I don't have high hopes for us to really get any type of like clearing skies in here. I wish that were not the case. Let me see if I can pop up let me pop up the Mesonet here. Let me see if there's any clearing. These low clouds are kind of, actually, hold on, I'll just do it like this. Where's my, here we are. Hold on. I gotta turn clouds on. Clouds are, okay, here we go. Save this. Okay. Let me see if the NAM is able to pick up. Nah, it's not able to pick up on this low deck of clouds, but yeah, there's gonna be a lot of clouds out there. Except out in Amarillo. So but there has been some decent color. There has been some decent color out there, especially up to the north. I saw some pretty impressive pictures in Kansas, Nebraska. So it's out there. Now, last night I was getting a lot of pictures of people that were like, the Northern Lights, but it was actually the Paycom Center. The green, the Paycom Center is lit up like with a bunch of red, or a bunch of green. People were kind of confusing that. It's like, no, unfortunately, that's the Paycom Center. Let's look long range, why don't we? Since we are now in the month of December, I have a new month to look at. So when it comes to long range data, so let's see what it says. This is the first time. Let me I'll give it a little bit bigger. So we get a new data dump in here. So let's check out temperatures. First things first, monthly temps. So here's December. It's calling for warmer than normal. January, near normal. For Oklahoma, a bit milder than normal. For January, that's not really mild though. Out across northern Oklahoma, cooler than normal in Texas. February, warmer than normal, much colder out across the north. And now we get March in here. March is showing colder than normal. That will be interesting now to see if we are colder than normal. And then moisture-wise, how are we looking here? So this says December, eastern Oklahoma, drier than normal. Central, western Oklahoma, near average. This says January, wetter than normal for Texas, near normal for Oklahoma, a bit drier than normal there in the northeastern Oklahoma. This says wetter than normal in February, and the newest month added to this, March, looks extremely wet. So hard to tell if that's going to transition into snow or not. But we shall see. March 1st is my birthday. Going to be cold. Elizabeth, it might. Any meet and greets at Penn Square Mall next year? I don't know. Kenzie, they usually have them in there, but I don't. Usually like the beginning of March, but I'm not too sure. Let's check out how wet this month is going to be. So let's see here. Drier than normal a bit. Looks like we get that storm system in here next weekend. But otherwise, I don't know. Well, let me check something here. I think there's an error in this data. Will we get a blizzard in 2004? Nora, hard to say. Only because blizzards are tied to wind and not like the amount of snow. So we would have to get a lot of wind and a lot of snow. Or snow chances, I should be saying. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll get a blizzard. We won't get one at least in the next 2 weeks, that's for sure. Not with our temperatures being warmer than normal. I mean, we're in the 50s and 60s. So, and hopefully no blizzard for Christmas. I mean, I got to work Christmas, but I'd like to be able to wake up on Christmas morning at home with my wife and my daughter. So, we shall see. All right. Again, for anyone that's just now tuning on or tuning into this Facebook Live, so we're going to go on late, obviously, because it's 10:02. There's still 14 minutes left in this game, so it's probably going to be like 10:30, 10:45 before we go on. It's going to be a bit late here before we go on. But let's see here. Lisa, you know what a blizzard is. You definitely do know what a blizzard is. Yeah, we'll you look at winter storms differently once you become an adult. Like when you're a kid, you love them, right? It's like I am all about it. And then all of a sudden you become an adult and you're like, I'd be okay if we didn't have a blizzard. So, I remember I got stuck in my driveway back in 2009. And I was like 8 hours late to work because I couldn't get out of my driveway. And it was my first. I'd only been here for like 3 months too, by the way. Jeremy's like, nope, so love him. That's the thing. There's going to become a point in my life. Like, I love weather. But for me, I'm always working weather. Like, there'll come a point when I retire, when I get to enjoy a good snowstorm. Or a good thunderstorm without having to be at work. Or tweeting about it, or being on Facebook, or TikTok, or whatever. That day will come. But it's still at least 15 years out. So anyway, weather, again, real quick for tonight, we're going to watch out for some patchy fog. Let me just show you the latest model run that we have in here for fog. Looks like tomorrow morning there'll be a good amount of it from like northeast of Kingfisher, Watauga, up to Fairview, north of Sealing to Woodward, Alva. That red is where the fog is going to set up. And it looks like the fog should be out of here by about 10 a.m. For the most part, there may be a little lingering fog across Woods County and parts of Major County. Let's do a radar check real quick. Again, Northern Lights, got a report of the Northern Lights there in the Texas Panhandle. So if you're out in western Oklahoma, the Texas Panhandle, and you can see stars, go outside, look up to the north. You may be able to see a nice red hue. You may need the help of your phone camera. Kind of like open the shutter, let it kind of like to the point, like if you have like a night sight, like I know in the Google Pixels, you have night sight where it can get all the stars, and you may be able to see it then. So, Kinsey, was I on Good Morning America back in the day? I was on Good Morning America back in the day. It was back in 2013 I filled in. So right before Christmas, actually. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Exhausting, though. Got to fly out to New York City and then come back, and then I didn't get a day off. It was on my weekend. So it was fun, though. It was fun. All right, y'all. KOCO 5 News will go on whenever the game is over. It's a good game. Good television right now on KOCO. And so we'll see you whenever this game game wraps up. So, all right. Have a good night.